All right.
Fuck it.
Alright.
Do it live.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
You really adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Bazinga!
Two in the box!
Ready to go!
We be fast.
They be slow!
Cool.
All right, and we're live and we're recording, whichever way you're listening to it. Welcome to the Geekmore podcast, your favorite podcast where you come to listen or watch, depends on how you're looking at it. To four people talk, debate, and argue over their top four, Mount Rushmore, if you will, pop culture subjects. Today's pop culture subject, as you can tell by looking at your listening device or looking at your monitor or your screen, your phone screen, who knows, is the Mount Geekmore of TV captains. So if they are a captain, if they're called captain, look, man, if their mama call them captain, I'm going to call them captain. And they're on TV. We're going to be calling them out today. I am Nary Signs. With me, as usual, is DeBona.
What up, y'all?
I'm sorry, that's Daniel DeBona. I got thrown off because you just have your last name on the screen, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been that way for a little while. It helped calm some people's nerves.
Oh, that's so true. And Jeff.
What up?
And David.
Howdy.
All right. So before we get going, we want to say that we are available to, if you're listening to the audio version of this, which most of you still do, check us out on video. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. So make sure you guys check it out. All the links are on our bio. So however you're listening to this, links are everywhere. Go to our Instagram. Everything is MT Geekmore, except for the YouTube. The YouTube is on the Geek Bro, but that's besides the point. Everything is still there available. Thank you guys for that. And how did you guys come up with your selections, Jeff? How did you come up with your selections with your list for this?
This was probably the easiest list that I came up with. Number one is going to be pretty obvious to everybody. 2 and 3 also kind of just came to me out of the blue. 4 was a little tricky because he's not necessarily the best in people's eyes, but he's the best in my eyes. But it was pretty straightforward for me. Just characters that I genuinely enjoyed and for the most part had great backstories. That's where number 4 is a little maybe backstories and development.
Okay, DeBona, how'd you make your selection?
Development ended up being pretty large for me too. I tried to pick people that I felt embodied what you might look for in a boss or a captain. If you're in a position where your boss is a captain, people that I would not mind following is where my list kind of ended up falling.
All right, no women. Great, got it.
Jesus!
Wow.
Oh wait, my list doesn't have any. I know my list doesn't have any women. I just realized that.
Dave, I said that. That's the reason why I said that, because I know I've heard a lot of names and rumblings, and I was like, "There's not a lot of women being called out here." But Dave, what do we got? How'd you come up with this?
Yeah, for me, if they either captain a ship of some sort, or if they are ranking captain somehow, they made the short list.
All right,
whether it be from the Enterprise or the Voyager or the
or Deep Space Nine
or Deep Space Nine or Discovery.
They don't got to be a ship. Just be the captain of just a satellite station.
Listen, if they are affiliated with the Federation of any kind,
this could have very easily have been an all Star Trek mountain for me.
Yes,
and I made a conscious decision to pick only one Star Trek captain. It was very difficult, but y'all are gonna know.
Take a shot.
All right.
We got a drinking game on what your list is gonna be. Yeah. We guessed that you would only pick one Star Trek, so. All right, take a shot of that. I made my selection by. I will say this: looking at my list, the majority is one gender. It's one gender.
Actually, technically, no. Mine's gender fluid. One of my picks is gender fluid.
Okay.
Mine too.
All right.
'Cause I've got that one too.
Mine is a majority one gender. And I will say that the finding number 4 was difficult only because I didn't know how silly I wanted to go with it. Damn near Captain Crunch almost made my list. He had a TV show on for a minute. And I was like, do I want to go that stupid? Like, how stupid do I want to go? Like, how much do I want to
commercials are on TV? That kind of
sorry?
counts.
That was the argument my
Commercials are on
daughter
TV.
made. She was like, commercials are on TV. Put Captain Crunch on your list.
See, if my daughter would have made that suggestion, I for sure would have, just for like the fact that it's my daughter saying, I'm like, yeah, that's her pick. That's what I'm going with. But my daughter didn't help me out, so fuck it. So anyway, so we are gonna get going. Let's go out with a number 4.
With the fourth pick.
Number 4. Round 4.
I'm in no mood for your wives' crack. Let's get it on.
All right, number 4. Hit me with your number 4, Jeffrey.
All right, so my number 4 is the captain from The Captain and Tennille. No, I'm just kidding. My number 4 is kind of the opposite of what Dabona. The demonetized. It's the opposite of Dabona. He said it's somebody that he would go into battle with and he would, follow to the end. My number 4 is not even the best captain on this show technically, but to me they are because of how stupid they are. And my number 4 is Zap Brannigan.
God damn it! I knew you were going to say Zap Brannigan.
So
As soon as you said not even the
great.
best of the show, I said this fool's about to pick Zap Brannigan
Yep.
Zap Brannigan
from
Zap
Futurama.
Brannigan.
Futurama.
I love how idiotic this man is. And he has some of the best lines in Futurama, which is hard to freaking
For God's
do.
sakes, Kif, wave the flag.
and it's just like he never I think he only did like one decent thing in all of the seasons, but
And it
he
was
killed
by accident.
right, and it was by accident, and he killed Kip, his first mate.
Yeah.
He's thrown him under the bus when he had the Titanic ship get cut in half. He's like, it's the comets. They're like space icebergs. I'm like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And I love his his outfit that is basically Donald Ducking it all over the place.
Yes.
Um,
Galore.
but he like Zap Brannigan is just the epitome of like the opposite of what an ideal captain should be, but he thinks that he is the best captain in the world. And that's what I love about it, is that he's so conceited and so into himself that he doesn't realize that he's just a horrible human being.
He's also one of those characters that whenever he does get any sort of redeeming arc, like they immediately are like, oh no, he's still Zap Brannigan. It's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He like I said, he's got those great lines like when they went to the Amazon planet, the mind is willing, but the body is spongy and weak.
But the snoo is going to be good, right? Baby, it'll blow your mind.
So I picked him just because I love those types of characters in shows where they get those one-liners and get those like out there kind of dialogue choices. And so that's why he's, like I said, he's not a good captain by any means, but Leela is far better of a captain than he is. But in Futurama, I always love Zap Brannigan.
Yeah.
There he is. The velour fog himself. That's literally the scene that I quoted earlier where he goes, for God's sakes, Kif, wave the flag.
But yeah, that's my number 4. I mean, there's not much to say except he's absurd.
You nailed it, brother. Bono, what do you got for your number 4?
Don't have to go very far from Jeff's pick. My number 4 is Taranga Leela.
There we go.
That is my number 4 as well.
From Futurama, arguably the only competent member of the Planet Express crew. She is the only reason.
She might be the only competent character in the entire show. It really is.
Hermes
really
is pretty Hermes is pretty competent. He smokes a lot of weed, but he's very good at his job. She's the only reason anything ever gets done. She has a very compelling story starting off that she thinks she's an alien. She eventually finds out she's a mutant and meets her parents, gets gets some of the best episodes are the episodes that tell her backstory. She's somebody that we see a ton of development from as the show continues on, but also just she always whether or not her decisions get followed, she is the one who's always making the decisions that are in the best interest of the crew. She's always out there, with the exception of that one episode, Mobius Dick, where she became Captain Ahab. She is always trying to do what's right for the crew as a whole. She's the only reason that Planet Express ever gets anything done. It survives as a business at all. And she's just very good at it. She understands her crew. She knows the very few things that they're good at. Yeah, that's her.
There's a real reason why he picks her. Let's be real.
Yeah,
I'm not against it.
But she embodies that idea of getting the most out of people. I mean, her crew is Bender and Fry and Amy. There's not a lot there, but she gets every bit of juice she can out of that thing.
That's true.
And she's very good at her job. She's number 4 on my list just because it's an animated show. Not that matters that much, but that's why I just kind of snuck her in there for.
Captain Crunch is animated.
Well, Dave, that's your number.
Yeah. She's my number 4 as well, and for all the same reasons. Where Zap Brannigan kind of is this exaggeration of Captain Kirk. I feel like she's the perfection of Captain Kirk, in kind of every way. Where she's got the fast quips, and she's just as funny. Maybe not as outlandish as Zap Brannigan is, or as Captain Kirk was, but she's a ridiculously competent captain. She's someone that I would feel safe flying aboard the Planet Express and delivering pizzas with.
Except when she joined the feminists.
Well,
no one's perfect, man. No one's perfect. I found a pretty, in looking up these captains, I found a did it not save? Oh, it did not save. Sorry, I found a pretty sick tattoo of Leela, and I thought it was pretty rad, but I can't show it. So thanks a lot, guys. All right, my number 4. Sorry. Yeah. Right? There you go.
I don't know, is it?
No, it came back like I tried to save it 3 times, and it was like nope. And I was like, oh, okay, fine. And then it hit me up with the bring, and I was like, are you gonna save or not? What the fuck, dude? It doesn't matter. It's too late now. You missed your mark there, computer. That's hold on. I spelled it incorrectly, Leela. My number 4 is Captain Carter. In the What If show.
Okay.
Good call. Okay.
What if
Nice.
yeah. What if Captain America never happened, I guess? I guess
Right.
What was the title of the episode? What if whatever.
Let's go with that.
Wait.
Yeah,
You
sure.
so wow. So your entire list is women then?
I didn't say entire. I said most.
You said your list was all.
I said my list was mostly one gender.
Okay. Okay.
Captain Carter is my number 4. In that 40 minutes, right? Roughly that episode, that 40 minutes.
Well, and then the last one.
And then the last one, right? Immediately. Like, I'm not a fan of Peggy Carter, the TV show. In fact, I very much dislike that show at all. Agent Carter. I don't really see why she's a big deal in the MCU in general. But the What If, when she got the powers, I was like, oh, this is dope as fuck. And it was pretty much, I mean, the series was great, but that was pretty much the best way to kick off that series. The What If is to start with that. Like, she's the one that got injected instead of Steve, and it was fucking bonkers. So,
Well, and they did so much to show that, like, she was as good as Captain America was at everything. Like, once she had it, I think that's one of the things.
Better because she didn't betray her friend to
There we
fucking.
go. I was trying to avoid that.
I know. No. I'm like Andy from The Office. I'll bring up Cornell no matter how you fucking. I'll bring that shit up one way or another, my friend.
But they did.
Man,
They,
your
they
ability
did,
to misunderstand plot like never ceases to amaze me.
Well, that's why we have you back. So yeah, no, it's but I love Peggy. I love Agent Captain Carter. I'm sorry, Captain
Yeah,
Carter.
they did an awesome job with that. I think you're right. I think it was the absolute perfect way to kick off that series because it really showed you how much they were willing to do with it.
Yeah, it was great. All right. That's number 4. So for number 4s, we had let's see, I'm sorry. Captain Carter. So number 4s, we had Zap Brannigan from Futurama. We had Leela from Futurama, 2 different picks. And then Captain Carter from What If. And then we are on to our number 3.
Round 3.
3 is a magic number. Yes, it is.
All right, number 3. Tress.
All right.
Who's Tress?
So my number 3 is probably going to be tabled. My number 3 is Raymond Holt.
Table.
That's my number 3.
Oh, okay. Still table.
Bum, bum, bum. All right, so we got that. Then we got Raymond Holt. And then we skip one, and then we got Raymond Holt again. Okay. DeBono, what do you got for your number 3?
My number 3 is probably also about to get tabled. I think based on something Jeff said earlier, my number 3 is Captain Jack Harkness.
Table.
Jack Harkness. From which series, Jeff?
Torchwood.
I know who's in
Torchwood
2,
or Doctor Who. Either
but
one.
I'm asking you, which one are you picking?
Both, because the story goes.
It's literally the exact same character.
Yeah.
Well, I know. I'm asking, like, if there's a split. Like, do you like him better in one series and then the other? Are you
Probably Torchwood.
Yeah, I'd
actually,
probably go more to Torchwood than
Okay.
that. But the key things that happened to him happened in Doctor Who.
I understand.
Yeah.
Actually, I've seen Torchwood, which
Oh, yeah?
I don't see
Yeah?
Doctor Who, but I seen Torchwood. Did not know what I was watching. We'll get to it. I have no idea. I was like, what's going on? I was like, what's going on? What's going? Like I was literally doing that. What's going on? And then I was like, oh, that's gay. Okay. And then I was like, okay. And then I really began to a point where I was like, I remember reaching for the remote, and I was like, am I gonna really fucking change the channel? Because all of a sudden he kissed a guy, get fucking like I had this conversation with myself, and I was like, continue watching. I'm like, what's going on? Wait, he's from the future? What the fuck's happening? He's getting out of jail. Like it was all I had no idea what I was watching. But years later, when I saw an image of him, I go, oh, that's the fucking gay dude in the jail that helped him. And then
The gay dude from the jail.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was watching.
Hey, Neri, table.
Oh, sorry.
He's like, I'll talk about it later. But here's everything that I.
Here's everything that I know. I'm not saying I don't know anything. All I said was a gay guy in jail. I mean, really, how many gay guys are there in jail? I mean, that's every fucking movie.
Have you not seen Oz?
Yeah.
I mean, Oz is such a great show. That show does not age well. This
No,
It does. It's
does
hard
not age
to go
well.
back and
Does
watch.
not age well.
Very much a product of its time.
All right. So, and then you picked David. You also picked Raymond Holt, correct?
As my number 3, yeah.
As your number 3. All right. So my number 3 is Captain Sharon Rader from
What about the Bona? Oh no, yours was Jack. Okay.
Yeah, his was Jack.
Sorry.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, brain fart.
Shit, I got so that you threw me so off. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to edit this episode too.
Editing. Ugh.
No, you know it's funny when you start listening to an episode that you've already posted, and then you hear yourself saying, "I gotta edit this." I'm like, "Oh fuck, I didn't edit that." I totally did not edit that. Anyways, Major Crimes. The show is Major Crimes. It's played. Let me get her actress name. I'm sorry.
You're talking about the Mary McDonald's character from
That is
Major
correct.
Crimes.
Mary McDonald's character from I just know her as Captain Sharon Rader. I don't like so yeah. So she's my wife and I binge watched the entire show of The Closer, which was a TNT show, which I had seen many episodes during its original run. And then Kira Sidgwick left, and I was like, well, okay, I guess that show's done. And I didn't realize that they spun the show off, basically the same show, they just changed leads and they just changed the title of the show. So it's not like it was technically a spin-off, but it's basically the same show. And it took my wife and I love Kira Cedric's character in the closer. So we were like watching Major Crimes with our arms folded, like, I don't know, but this is gonna be something different that we don't know. And we fell in love with Captain Raider as well. Talk about the strong silent type. She is awesome. She's legit. She doesn't yell. She doesn't do anything that Kira Cedric's character would do. And the reason I didn't pick Kira Cedric's character is because she was a chief, not a captain. But Captain Raider does everything very slow, very quiet, and very like I'm gonna get it done, and I'm gonna get it done my way, and it's fantastic. And she is somebody that I would absolutely fucking follow into anything. If she said fucking jump, I'd be like, okay, I can't ask you how high because I only have one vert, but I would do the best I can. So Captain Sharon Raider is my number 3. So there you go. That's it. Nothing. Nobody. All right. Good.
I've never seen that show.
I've watched
Yeah,
a
I
couple
kinda
episodes
figured.
of The Closer, but I was more focused on. I never watched just Major Crimes. That's why it took me a second to when you said Major Crimes. It took me a second to realize that was the Closer spinoff.
Yes, it is. But I completely understand. Even though the show was very popular then, it was considered a major success. No pun intended. When it came out, I'm fully aware that I'm in the minority when I've seen the show. Like I get it. It's not, but it was a show on T. It was an original TNT show back in the day, so I get it. Finding somebody to talk to this about, like it's very. It's only me and 2 other people in the chat. All right. So the number 3s were Raymond Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Captain Harness from Torchwood, Raymond Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and Captain Sharon Raider from Major Crimes.
And it's Harkness, not Harkness.
I'm sorry?
It's Harkness with a K. I don't think you care. Okay.
I'm writing it down. Harkness. I'm fucking adjusting.
He wrote hardness
I'm
because the only
adjusting
thing you
my-
knew was that he was gay. So
He wrote Hardness subconsciously.
I wrote Jack Gayness from Torch Gayness from Gaywood. That's all I know about that guy. That's funny.
Round 3.
Oh no, you see,
You're gonna have to edit this.
No, you see, that's so fucking fair. Same shit happened last episode. I was like, no, I fucking did it. You son of a bitch.
Round 2.
Dose, the sequel to Uno.
All right. Give me your deuce, Jeff. Give me your
So
deuce,
we can talk about it now, DeBona. My number 2 is Captain Jack Harkness. Harkness. Now I said Hardness. Jesus Christ. So Captain Jack Harkness in a show and in 2 shows that have so many amazing characters in it stands out incredibly well against those other characters. As he, his story that he wasn't, he stole his identity from another person from, I think it was World War II. It was 1 or 2. I think it was 2.
I think it was 2.
That he took the name of Captain Jack Harkness. He in his span of his existence becomes immortal. Ends up getting left in the wrong time period in the past. Gets stuck there and has to stay for years and hopefully finding the doctor again so that he can potentially get back home. During that time period, fighting in 2 world wars, falling in love, watching his loved ones die in front of him because he ages slower than everybody else does. He still ages, but incredibly slow. And he was killed, I don't know how many hundreds of times in that time period, and comes back again with those memories, with those horrors in his head and those feelings of dying all those times. Still manages to join Torchwood, run a successful team, save the world from on multiple occasions. He's historically important because he was the first gay kiss on a Doctor Who show ever when he kissed Eccleston.
I saw it.
That wasn't in Torchwood.
No,
that
you
was
saw it in
Doctor Who.
Torchwood. He kissed Christopher Eccleston first.
Yeah, in Doctor Who. And I just loved his development and he's such a tortured soul, but still managed to put this persona of joy. And he was omnisexual. He didn't care if you were male, female,
Yes.
alien, whatever. and he
Robot bangs
yeah.
robots.
and
Yeah, but none of us care about robots either, right? We don't.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying, like he defines pansexual.
yes, yeah, absolutely.
Wait.
And
If you fuck robots, you're a pansexual.
No, I'm just saying that's just in the scheme of things that he has had sex with. It's males, females, both. Neither robots.
I was asking to see if I had to change my fucking profile.
You want to laugh, Neri? The funny part about John Barrowman is that he was one of the finalists to be on Will and Grace, and they told him he's not gay enough. He wasn't gay enough. He said that in an interview. So that's funny that you mentioned that. But Captain Jack, I just
well, I just mentioned that because I was making a joke that I fucked a robot.
Right.
This wasn't a gay joke, slanting gays in any way. I was just saying, if you fuck robots, you got to change your profile because that's what I do. Because I'll fuck a robot any day of the week.
And one of the most beautiful love stories was involved with him and Yondu. Like that was the most gut wrenching thing to see him and Yondu when Yondu passes away. That
Mary Poppins.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know Debona, you had him as well, so I don't know if
I mean, he's a character with like Jeff has said, with an absolutely amazing story. He's actually from the 51st century, like originally, and then ends up planted in like the 1800s, I believe, is when he first gets dropped off, and he's just living through the centuries. He's there for the creation of Torchwood. He eventually takes over as the captain of the Cardiff branch of Torchwood, but he's a guy that the development of Jack Harkness is so great because when you see his time in Torchwood, you watch him kind of go from this bumbling, resistant guy into somebody that you like, that his team genuinely loves him. Like, they're not just following because of his rank and because they were told to, but because he earns the respect of everybody who works for him. So like Jeff has said, so many of the things that he did on the show became so big. The character himself has become this, LGBTQ icon in the fact that it's one of those things where it's part of his character, but it's not necessarily the defining part of his character. I'm sorry if you can hear that insanity in the background. My dog has lost his mind.
If we can hear that, are you already like? If I thought that he was fighting with the ice maker, I was like, "What's going on?"
I don't know what he is doing all of a sudden. He's still hyped on Halloween candy. He got into a bag of it last night. But it became something where it was a major part of his character, but it was never something that defined him. It was always just, it was there, and it was never treated as anything that was abnormal. Right. It was just, that's just who he was.
As it fucking shouldn't. As it shouldn't.
Yeah. I'm saying, but
it's one of those things where like I it's so ridiculous when people talk about, like, when you watch like episodes of Friends, for example. There's an episode where Joey is going up for a role, and his acting student is going out for the same role, and so to give him quote unquote bad advice, he tells his acting student to go to make the character gay. And I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Oh yeah,
because like it's shit like that. Again, it's a sitcom, or whatever, it's meant for laughs, but in my mind I'm just like, that doesn't even make any sense. What are you talking about? Who cares? Anyways, go ahead.
And so he's a character who spanned two different series, and then the whole Who universe is just something that has allowed him to exist across multiple platforms, audio dramas, comic books, things like that. And everywhere he shows up, man, he's just cool. Yeah. He's just like, that's the thing. Like, when I look at my list, he's my one who's just a really cool guy. Like, everything he does is just, I mean, there's just a sheen to everything he does.
Jeff met him, right? Jeff?
Yep.
He did some sort of announcement for you, right?
He did our pregnancy announcement.
Yeah.
That him embracing me while Christy was standing in the side taking care of our unborn child.
Yes. My son shares John Barrowman's birthday.
Cool.
Gray has the same birthday as John Barrowman, but it's just, and that's the thing. It's carried over so much that John Barrowman has himself become a major icon of this very real community, and a guy that's just viewed as just cool. Yeah. And so it's just an awesome character. Like I said, you get to see him across everything. So that's why he's
a good list. Twitter follow too.
Yes, great Twitter follow. Oh, because he will drag people too. Oh my God, Barrowman does not give a fuck.
He dragged Target for not letting him buy a fucking homeless guy some clothes one time. It was crazy. It was bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's Dave's. That's I'm sorry, Debona's number 3, Jeff's number 2.
Yep.
Correct.
Yes.
All right. Dave, what do you?
No,
I'm sorry,
Debona.
Debona. Sorry, Debona. What do you got for your number 2?
Unless he needs to stay tabled from somebody else, my number 2 is
Table.
Raymond Holt. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Dave, what do you got?
My number 2 will probably be tabled, and it is Captain Malcolm Reynolds.
Yeah, we're gonna table it. I'm glad he made the list. Thank you, Dave.
How could he not?
I know. Well, Neri's never seen the show. Remember?
Yeah. And even if I have, out of spite, I just wouldn't.
You prick.
That makes so much sense.
I told Jeff exactly what I would have done if I were him. I would have done. I told exactly who the fuck I would have picked for number 2 and for number 3. I would have had.
I told you 3.
Yeah. You're right. But I would have I would have found another one to make it an all fucking Nate.
Number
Fillion
2, number 2 would have been from what was it? It
Castle.
was
Castle
from Castle, Kate, and then number 3 would have been from the Rookie. It's Captain from the Rookie.
Like I just would have had all fucking Nate Fillion fucking Captain laws. That's what I would have done. But I've never seen the show. But I have seen Castle. He was good in Castle, and so she was great. So Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly.
Jerk.
I almost said Superfly, and I'm like, that would have been dumb.
That would have been amazing.
Also, that
I'd watch that show.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
That show I would watch. That show. I'm like, what the fuck? Dave, what do you got for your number 2?
Malcolm Reynolds.
Captain Malcolm Reynolds.
He's gonna have to edit this.
Oh, I already did. Yeah, that's what I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about. I thought we were talking about Just Pick already. I apologize. I had a brain fart. My number 2.
Don't apologize to me.
Neri, take some vitamins, bro.
It's been a long week, man.
Yeah.
My number 2 is Captain Sarah Lance from Legends of Tomorrow.
Excellent pick.
She became a captain on season 2 when Rip left the show and the fleet, and she became a captain against her will. She didn't know what the fuck she was doing. She didn't think she had it in her to become a captain, and Rip saw something in her that she hadn't seen yet, and she still believed that she had that black canary, that evilness in her, and Rip was like, no, you're good. And slowly but surely throughout the next 2, 3, 4 seasons, I believe they just renewed for season 6. She became a leader, and this is like the ultimate. The Legends is like the ultimate, at least for TV versions, it's the ultimate like riffraff. It's a bunch of fucking mismatched group of losers, and she does, including herself. And it's become a ongoing joke throughout the series that they will stumble to get to the end, but they'll always make it to the end. So they fuck things up and they do things not classy, and they really don't know the meaning of covert even when they try. But I love her for her leadership. I love her for the fact that she kicks ass. And just like Jack Harkness, she is very fluid and makes it throughout the show. Doesn't matter who she hooks up with. What's the dude's name in the coat? Dave.
I gave up on this show.
But from the comics, Constantine. She hooks up with Constantine.
Oh, John Constantine. Okay.
John Constantine, and then now she's in a relationship with a woman. So yeah. Anyways, so she's great. Love the show. Love her. Captain Sarah Lance is my number 2.
I gave up on the show, but I do think that it is incredibly well casted.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the only one I don't like, and I know that I'm in a minority. But this is neither here nor there, is the Captain Code, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah.
Oh, Wentworth Miller.
Yeah, he just plays him. I had a friend
The drag
years
queen
upon
thing.
a thousand years ago that said he plays him like a drag queen, and I can't get that out of my head now. And so every time I see him, I'm like, "Fuck, he really
ever since you pointed that out to me, I hear it every fucking time he
Yeah.
talks now too.
It's so weird.
It was the shattering of the glass from How I Met Your Mother, man.
Yeah,
That's exactly what it was for me too. I was like, "What the fuck?" And it was one of those things. And what he meant by that is the stereotypical drag queen. It was like he that cartoon version of a drag queen is like that's what he plays him as, and I'm like, I can't fucking unsee it now. All right, so the number twos were Jack Harkness, I'm sorry, from Torchwood, Raymond Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly, and Sarah Lance from Legends of Tomorrow. So we are up to our number ones.
Round one.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back.
Do it! Do it! Come on! Come on!
Honorable
I
mentions.
forgot the honorable mentions. I just realized that one line. Forgot the honorable
We were
mentions.
trying to flag you down.
I know. I thought I saw you guys wiggling hands, and in my mind, I was like, "Oh, they're dancing to the song," and I'm just like, just drinking tea.
You're such an ass.
And I literally thought the only reason it hit me is because I was like, "Are we at 35 minutes? How the fuck are we this? How are we going this fast?"
We have a
And
lot
I
of
was like, we should probably slow it down. And I was like, how do we do that? Honorable mentions. I was like, oh, son of a bitch, we forgot honorable mentions. I forgot honorable mentions. I got to take my vitamins. I'm sorry, man. I've been all over the place. This has been awful. This is why I didn't get nominated for best host from the iHeartRadio podcast competition. Not because nobody hears us, but it's because of this. Honorable mentions. Jeff, hit me with your honorable mentions, man.
I'm going to pick a few because there's a giant list of honorable mentions. So I'm going to go for ones that I don't think other people are going to pick. Baloo from Tailspin.
Hey, nice.
Okay.
He almost made my number 4. Like that's what I was talking about, going silly, like going cartoon, going like that. I was thinking about going with him for my number 4, but go ahead. Sorry.
Captain Lou Albano. Captain N, the Game Master.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll two more and I'll leave the rest to you guys. The Captain from How I Met Your Mother.
Oh yeah.
Well played.
It was great.
And Benjamin Hawkeye Pierce from MASH. He was a captain.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, MASH had like 4 captains.
Yeah, like
3 captains.
Yeah, Hawkeye. Yeah, Hawkeye was. Oh my god, all their names.
I can't remember the other
escape
two,
me.
but
but they all were at one point.
Yeah.
I saved the other ones. If we need to slow it down and nobody said them, I'll throw those out later.
The Bono, what do you got for your honorable mentions?
I have got Donald Cragen from Law and Order. He did something like 600 episodes of the show as the captain. Tila from Masters of the Universe.
Yes, I
and
have her as well.
Captain Planet.
Yeah.
Captain Planet also made my honorable mentions. Dave, who you got?
So I've got Starbuck, and you can take your pick whether from the original show or from the reboot. Personally, I think that rebooted show and that version of Starbuck is just
hotter.
Well, significantly.
Yeah, I was like,
What show is this?
Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica.
Okay, sorry. I'll leave. The fucking way that you three just looked at me like I'm the fucking loser. I'm like, I'm sorry, I haven't seen the show. You're like, I'll leave. I'll fucking leave.
Although he's only captain for one scene at the end of the show, Sam Wilson as Captain America in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and someone who I did not know who was going to be number 3 and who was going to be 4 and who was going to be honorable mention until almost right until we started. But Glenn Quagmire is
he's a captain.
Yeah, he's an airline captain, and I just anytime you actually get to see him in work and in doing his captain voice, I always remember this one scene where he's like, oh, what was your longest this guy's like, oh yeah, it was I went 37 seconds. He goes, no, really? And he's like, we'll be pushing back in about. He's when he is Captain Glenn Quagmire, he's fantastic, but also he's just he's Quagmire.
Yeah.
I didn't think about Quagmire. That's a good one. I had Baloo. I had Jim Brass from CSI, from the original CSI. The police captain is fantastic. Howling Mad Murdoch
From
from
the A
from
Team.
the A Team, and Caveman.
Captain Caveman.
Captain Caveman.
Captain Caveman. Those are the honorable mentions I
Most
have.
of my list is gone. There's only 3 that are not. Nathan
Jeff.
Bridger from Sequest.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Captain Jonas Grumby, aka the Skipper, and and then this one's a really obscure one, but I used to love watching the show on PBS. Captain Stephen Peacock from Are You Being Served? It was this British show that took place in a department store, and it was just these absurd characters, and I way above my age that I should like of watching it. That I don't know why I laughed at it, because the jokes I didn't get half of them, but I used to watch that show.
I
with my
still
dad all the
don't.
time.
I tried to watch Are You Being Served like in the past couple years, and I'm still like, still. I watch a good amount of British comedy. And Are You Being Served is like next level absurdist British comedy, and I'm still watching. I'm like, I get that I'm supposed to laugh here, but I don't know why.
Yeah. But I kept watching it. I was like, I don't know why I'm watching this, but okay, that lady, she's hot, but that lady's crazy. I don't know what's happening.
It's certainly no Faulty Towers.
No. Or AbFab.
Yeah.
Of course. Right. That's what I said. Right.
Or
No, I can't say that I haven't seen a show on this fucking panel anymore. God forbid the baggage of death I get when I haven't seen a show. Holy fuck.
Round 1. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back.
Do it! Do it! Come on! Come on!
Right, Jeff. Hit me with your number 1 as if we don't know.
What is my number 1? Yeah, so Malcolm Reynolds. I've talked about him quite a few times already, but there's still I still love him. He's my favorite captain that I've seen on TV. He's such a broken character that still has so much love for every single member of his crew, including the new people that came on board. He eventually realizes what their place is, and that they're not the bad people that he originally thought they were, because they put his crew in danger. He even treats the ship like it's one of his crew. He's, selfless.
Oh, that episode, Out of Gas.
Yeah, Out of Gas is one of the best episodes they did.
Oh my God, yes, my heart breaks for him every time.
He's just such a diverse character with such a sad origin, but he always will put himself above the crew, no matter what. He may sarcastically talk down to them or joke with them, but everybody knows it's not really being serious. I've talked about him a bunch of times, so I'm not going to take up too much time on it, but I know Dave had him as his pick, but
this was one of those shows that I didn't jump on immediately, so I didn't watch it as it aired on Fox, and shortly after it was canceled, I had a group of friends that was really into it, and they had the DVD collection that had come out, and they were like, hey, you got to watch this. And so I binged it. I mean, it's only 13 episodes or something like that. So I binged it in a weekend, gave it back to them, and then I went and I bought the DVD set myself. And I've seen the show. I couldn't tell you how many times at this point. And he is such a selfless captain. Like, he's the type of guy that I know, between him and Gina Torres, you're going into battle, you are going to be okay.
Yeah.
And he knows that ship like if it was his own body, which is odd because he's not the ship's mechanic, and he could pilot that ship better than Wash could probably, and he's not the pilot. He is the the perfect embodiment of like Space Quint from Jaws, right? Like he knows his craft so well, both like the literal and the figurative way, and it is he's inspirational. in the way that he handles every situation, because he's constantly, he's got the odds stacked against him, and then somehow, like he constantly says, we're still flying,
Right.
so
Yeah.
that's to me that in times where like it seemed like the world was against me and I couldn't catch a fucking break, if I watched Firefly, I found some sort of like desire to do better and to keep going, and a lot of that has to do with him.
Well, and the thing about Mal is he's never presented as infallible, quite the opposite.
Mhm.
And so it makes it such an approachable character. Whereas so often when you get these roles of somebody who's in charge, they're presented as the ultimate authority on things. He's constantly wrong. And that's what makes him so relatable as a character and just like a normal guy who kind of gets thrust into this position.
Yeah.
And it's great because his cast of characters, he's the captain. They deep down they respect him 100%, but on the surface they will insult him to his face. Him and Inara's back and forth, like in all the episodes in the
Yeah.
movie, like a captain who was really full of himself and really didn't care about his crew would be like, okay, well, just get the fuck off my ship, get out of here, like you're not going to disrespect me. He genuinely knows that it's not coming from a bad place, and he doesn't, even when he talks down to like Jane or some of these people, he never means it with disdain or like prejudice or any kind of that thing. He's just like, I want you to be the better person that I know you can be, that you are.
To me it often comes off as like the father figure that doesn't want you to get hurt, and he's trying to look out for you, but he's got so many things going on like in his mind. Like I go back to that scene with Kaylee where she wants to get that dress for the ball, right? And he's like, what are you going to do in a dress like that, right? Like he's worried about her, that she's going to look out of place,
right?
And he's not thinking about how she's going to receive that comment, right? And yet he goes out of his way to get her the dress,
right?
So he's incredibly flawed, like you said, but fuck if he isn't so damn good in the end.
Neri, what do you think?
Classic. Classic. Sounds like a good show.
You're never gonna watch it.
Sounds like it should have.
You have access to it.
Yeah, no. At this point, I don't think he's allowed to. I think if he tried, it would just be like, nope.
No, you're doing this as a joke. I'm like, what the fuck? I have issues with even shows that I'm currently like, if I'm watching, like, let's say I'm like on season 4 of a show that has 5 seasons, and then I find out the show gets canceled. I have problems finishing that show because I know that there's no hope for if it was unceremoniously canceled prematurely, I know that I won't be fulfilled.
But they give you a movie to fulfill you.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, that movie sucks. Is that not accurate?
That is inaccurate.
Yeah, okay. If you're a fan of the show, you're gonna like. If there's people that just went to that movie
and didn't
without
know
any, like the show, they're gonna say it sucked because there's a lot of throwbacks to.
This is the first time I'm hearing it. I've always heard that it was like a kind of sequel, but not a sequel, and
it is 100% a sequel. Yeah. Like it picks up where the show leaves off. There's something that happens in the movie that I don't like.
Wash
narratively.
Deserved better.
Exactly. Yeah. But otherwise, as far as the story goes, like it is what he planned to do for seasons 2 and 3, just jam packed into one, like incredibly action packed movie.
Right. Yeah. So that's the only reason I haven't watched it, is because it's my own thing that I have, and again, it has nothing to do with the show. It has to do because in my mind, I know the future, and I know that it got canceled prematurely, or it ended prematurely, and in my mind, I'm like, I'm not gonna be fulfilled. Like I had the same problem. I have problems with when I rewatch a show. When I'm rewatching a show, if the show's not 8 seasons, to give a fucking number, I'll fucking burn through seasons 1 through 7, and then season 8, I'll take my sweet ass time getting into it because I don't want it to end. Like I don't know. It's a psychological thing, but it has nothing to do with the show. I've actually been interested in watching the show for a long time. I just kind of always forget.
I did that with Game of Thrones, and then I regretted doing it after the last season. And I binged it. I binged like all the seasons. I never watched the show, and I binged all the seasons.
Oh
up until
man,
season 8.
Jamie could have made this list, right? He's captain of the King's Guard.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
But would he make
Oh, I
it?
know.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. I'm just saying. Just saying. Just when somebody said Game of Thrones, made me think about it. I didn't even consider him.
He's a sister fucker. I guess.
We spent too long asking ourselves if we could. We didn't stop and ask ourselves if we should.
He's the reason my Pornhub algorithm is all fucked up. All right. So number one, DeBono, what do you got for your number one, bro?
So I knew I was going to have a Federation captain on this list, and I knew that more than likely they were going to be number one. And this is what I created the rest of my list, all of my honorable mentions, quicker than I decided on which one I was going to slide into this spot. While so many of them have their merits, Scott Bakula, I am not looking at you. It came down to having to pick the one that I felt embodied this higher idea of what a captain is. And
real quick, I just got a mental image of a meme. You know those memes that is like any one of these is a great pick, and not you,
Not you.
the one in the middle.
Yeah.
Thank you, all of you, for all the great work you've
Yeah,
got. You,
not Scott Bakula.
You're all amazing captains, and not you. And then
but when it comes down to it, the one who embodies captain outside of just Federation captain, for me, is Picard. Jean-Luc Picard.
That's my number one.
Is who
fucking A, man.
Is who it had to come down to. Like I said, I kicked this around for a long time. I like Janeway, I like Kirk, but it's Picard was a guy who, in the course of the series, he encountered Q multiple times, the crystalline entity, became a Borg, like de-assimilated from being a Borg, made first contact with 27 different alien species over
Lived
the course.
an entire life.
Yes.
In the flash of a blink of an eye.
And was Catan?
That was in the episode The Inner Light.
Yeah. But he was just when he gave orders, it was like a voice from heaven, like giving you an order and telling you what to do. And he was a guy who always controlled his emotions. Well, most of the time controlled his emotions well. One of my favorite things about
I have seen a gif of him giggling.
Yeah. And one of my favorite things is, I believe it was in the series finale. If not, it was in one of the very last episodes. He finally decides to play poker with the crew, and he kind of laments that he never did it over the course of it because he put his position of captain and distancing himself from his crew above this like family atmosphere. He was a guy that you always could look to. He was a guy who always made the hard choices. He did everything he did what he was supposed to do. He took the Prime Directive very, very seriously. He embodied all of those things that we get bits and pieces of. I really did consider putting Janeway in here, but Janeway suffered a lot from terrible writing. Whereas with TNG and just the way that things went, plus that rogues gallery that Picard beat is untouchable.
For me, ultimately what it came down to, because Janeway was never going to make my list. I have heard so many stories about how she was on set that it's affected the way I view the character.
Oh.
And I know that it shouldn't, but also I think Voyager is a lesser show. I think Voyagers is one of those shows that it's like exactly what not to do if you're exploring like literally unexplored space, right?
Yes.
Like this is what the show was initially intended for. Don't find shortcuts and give us the same old, which is what it really kind of became. And a lot of that I felt was Janeway. Anyway, so to get to Picard, right? He had what Kirk, who was the only other captain I was considering. What Kirk didn't have that Picard had was growth. we didn't get character development from Kirk until the films. And so I had to kind of take that out of my mind and focus on just what was going on in the television series. And a lot of that is thanks to 7 seasons as opposed to 3 seasons with Kirk, but also it's the nature of television writing at the time. Like The Next Generation was pretty revolutionary in like moving away from monster of the week style episodes and actually giving you narrative that carried over from one episode to the next and then from one season to the next. It's an incredibly nuanced TV show. And Picard's arc is one where he goes from a kind of unlikable captain in the first season, particularly in that very first episode.
Yes.
He's not a likable guy. And to see where he ends up at in the last episode, where we get to revisit that first episode and see how everything changes. It's absolutely incredible. It's the perfect way to close out his character arc. But along the way, we get to see all those incredible things, like you were talking about, his love for music, his love for literature, his love for the crew.
Fine French wine.
Right. The family history.
Yes.
Right. Like we see that he is flawed because he's got these like petty squabbles with his brother, like stupid little things like that make people human. They humanize them along the way. And it's always in those very human moments that I think he shows his true strength, when he's dying of thirst in a desert, when he's strapped to a table and being tortured by a Cardassian, when he's trapped in some sort of like alternate dimension and is living out an entire lifeline in the span of like 5 minutes. These are the moments when Captain Picard shows his worth, and he always comes out on top. And that's why when you think of him, it's not really him as Locutus of Borg. It's him after Locutus of Borg. It's not him strapped to the table, but it's him like getting off the table and looking at the Cardassian and then affirming there are 4 lights.
There are 4 lights.
Yeah, that he is always the guy who is going to win. Even if he loses personally, he's going to make sure that the rest of the crew wins. He's always putting himself last. Very similar to Captain Reynolds. And for me, it was really close between him and Mal. And I'm a bigger Trekkie than I am a Firefly fan.
Brown coat.
And that's what it boiled down to.
Yeah, and also the watching him be a father figure for Wesley ended up being such a big part of the show.
Starting off as someone who hated children,
yes, who could not stand children, and watching him, become a role model and a father figure for Wesley. Also because he wanted to smash Wesley's mom, but whatever. Who didn't?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
I need a checkup.
Right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Gates
McFadden can still get
it. Okay. I've never seen a show, so I can't. This is another show I can't say anything
You've
about.
Never seen The Next Generation?
No, I've never seen any of the Star Trek.
I've seen
a few episodes. I've seen a few episodes here and there, but you guys are speaking foreign language to me at this point. I know more about the mythos of the shows from behind the scenes, like from what Dave has told me, than I know about the actual show. It's kind of like I'm a bigger fan of the Bruce Lee mythos than I am of the actual Bruce Lee films.
Fair enough.
Like I prefer movies about Bruce Lee than I prefer Bruce Lee's movies.
I watch Dragon more than I watch Enter the Dragon.
The Bruce Lee story is the poster is framed and hung in my living room.
There we go.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, my number 1 is Peter Quincy Taggart from Galaxy Quest. No, I'm kidding. But how fucking great would that
we
be?
would have done movie. Oh, technically, it is a TV
It's a
show.
TV show
You're
inside
right.
a movie, so it could have fucking fit. It
Oh,
could have
you
fit.
could have.
And the only reason I didn't is because I thought of it after I already had said my number 3, and I was like, I'm not giving up my number 2 for this fucking pick.
Yeah, we'd already tabled Holt.
Yeah. Well, no, because I at number 3 I already So but Holt is my number 1 with a bullet. He is the epitome of a leader, the epitome of growth in a TV character, both like just as a human being and as a leader. He is fantastic. There is nothing that that brings tears to my eyes more than when Captain Holt, in the 2 times throughout this entire series, when his voice cracks because he's getting emotional over his squad, over the future of his squad, and then he fixes it or tries to fix it with the joke of like beep bop boop beep bop boop, and he tries to do that shit as if he's a robot because this dude is always calling him a robot. And I fucking love that. I love that show. I love every character. And when Jeff started watching the show and he was like, the best character is Holt, and I was like, fact. Like I was already like, oh, I'm like, yeah, there's no, but absolutely, I love the show. I love this. He is the epitome of a captain. Just the first episode goes to show you the leadership that this guy has when he makes everybody wear a tie, and Peralta refuses to wear a tie, and he doesn't understand why he's fucking asking him to wear a tie. And to the very end of the episode, when Peralta finally realizes, or maybe I think it was a second episode, it was like a 2-episode arc.
Yeah.
And there
No,
was
it
a
is
second
at the end of the first.
Yeah, and then he basically said, and then Peralta goes, "Oh, you're trying to get us to work as a unit," and the tie is basically, it's like we all do it, and so that began the relationship of mentor mentee father figure type of relationship that he had with pretty much everybody. Jake Peralta kind of monopolized that whole like, oh, because he called him dad a couple times, but.
Whereas
he's
Santiago was more the protege
the protege.
relationship.
Like she was dying to be a protege, but in reality, he was everything to all of them.
Yeah.
He was both those things. He was both a mentor and a father figure to everybody in that precinct, except for Scully, because God, who fucking needs that guy? But I love Captain Raymond.
And the thing is, even when he started, when he started getting involved with the teams, like doing the Halloween heists and doing like just banter.
where they won a championship cover bun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fucking perfect, man.
It's just great because he'll like be the Holt that everybody knows, then have this moment of just ridiculousness. Like the one that comes to my head is the vindication, and then it's like that out of nowhere he's just standing there stoic.
Yeah,
and then they say, and he just comes out of nowhere.
What did you think about the balloon? Or what did you think about the balloon arc? Oh, I love the balloon arc.
Yeah, even better than vindication for me. The time when he's like, I bet she was at the bank and got held up, and she walks in, hot damn. that was like I ended up loving that show. I binged it just like a year ago when you guys finally put me onto it, and just absolutely amazing.
I like the way you both said that. When you guys finally put me onto it, like it was your fault for not putting me onto this shit. It's like when you guys finally put me on.
But like that was like when that moment happened, like I was already into it. Like that show is one where the actors knew what their character was going to be from the very beginning, which is so often your people are like, forget about the first, Parks and Rec, The Office, forget about the first season, stuff like that. But that was when they came out of the gate, they're like, here's who my character is. But man, that hot damn, like that was the first time when I had to pause the show from just laughing so hard. He's a character that, like you said, we watch grow. You see so much with, and when it starts off, you're like, God, this guy is a prick. And then he just ends up becoming hands down the best character in the show.
Yeah. I personally, one of my favorite Hope moments is when Peralta gathers everybody in the break room and he goes, how would you, I'm going to have the captain try a marshmallow for the first time. How do you think you'll react? And everybody's like, oh, it's so marshmallow. So everybody's like so stiff and upright. And then this dude gets it and goes, "Woo, woo." And you go, really? That's how you think he'd react? He goes, "Oh, I can see it." And he's like, "Get out of here." And then sure enough, he fucking tries it. Holt tries it. And he goes, "Woo, woo, woo." He's like, "Yeah." That shit is so, when it's so off character, it's so fucking, it's beautiful. It's beautifully done. It's such
And
a
his
great
little corgi.
Yeah, it's so good.
One of my favorite moments is
Yeah.
is with the corgi. It's one of the heists. I can't remember which one, but they swap out. Fuck, what was the name of the corgi?
I don't remember.
Shit.
And I just finished it the other day.
Yeah, well, he says, "Well, this is just some common bitch." Cheddar, it's cheddar,
Cheddar.
This isn't cheddar. This is just some common bitch.
Even now, when you said the line, I'm like, "Oh fuck, that did get me. That did get me."
Yeah.
When he and Jake shenaniganized together, like I remember the episode where they're trying to solve some missing shit that's gone on in Kevin's university, and Peralta says shit like, "Yeah, our brains are hard," and he's like, "Actually, you kind of want your brain to be soft and squishy. It's bad if your brain's hard." He just comes out with these, but actually moments that actually make you laugh.
Call him a dirtbag. Why would you call him a dirtbag? The dirtbag is a needed part of the vacuum. It's a very part of the vacuum.
The one where they're trying to get the guy to crack in the interrogation room, and him and Jake are like playing good cop, bad cop, dumb cop, smart cop, and all that. Just timeless.
Good, man. All right. So the number ones are I'm sorry, I was off the reservation there for a second. Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly. We got Picard from Star Trek. We had him twice, and we had Captain Raymond Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Is this a perfect mountain for you, DeBona?
Probably not, because Leela has got 2 number 4 votes, and there's 5 with multiple. So I'm thinking I'm going to lose Leela to Malcolm Reynolds.
So we got Picard. We got Picard twice as number ones.
Right.
We got Malcolm Reynolds twice as a number 1 and a number 2. We got Captain Raymond Holt 3 times.
4 times.
4 times. All of us had it.
All of us had him.
He's got
so those are 3 that have to make it, and then Jack Harkness is at number 2 and number 3.
Yeah, which is going to bump out Leela. So no, I don't have a perfect mountain.
That Leela would have made me a perfect mountain as well.
All right. So we have Jack Harkness from Torchwood, Raymond Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly, and Picard from Star Trek. Apparently, I'm the only panelist who likes women.
Two of us had Leela.
Yeah, but number 4s. So you're saying woman is good as long as at the bottom? Way to go, DeBona. Way to go. No, I'm kidding.
I still argue about Jack Harkness.
But yeah, all right. So that's a good list, man. 2 of these shows I haven't seen, which we've talked about. 3. Fuck. I just realized I was like, wait. You know what's funny? I feel like I've seen fucking Star Trek just because of how often I hear about it, that I feel like I'm like, okay. But it's how many episodes, how many seasons is the first the first one, the original?
The original season, 3 seasons. Original series is 3, and then all of the other TV shows until Enterprise was 4. No, Enterprise was 4. The others were 7. Sorry,
7. Fuck, I was like, 4. I could do 4.
Or you could watch 13 episodes and a movie.
Nah, that's
or you can do them all. Why not? You could watch all of Star Trek, and still it would be less seasons than Supernatural.
Yes.
That's true.
I'll watch Star Trek when Dave watches what's the show that we were supposed to watch?
Friction, Frantic.
No,
Fringe.
Oh, Fringe.
Fringe.
That's right. Dave doesn't watch Fringe.
Friction.
No, not Friction. That's the show I wanted to watch with you.
I'm not
watching that show with you.
Yeah, but you got to watch Friction alone.
What's
your lady? What's your lady?
Neri recommended that after watching Torchwood. He's like,
yeah. I called Dave up specifically. Hey, you seen Torchwood? You want to watch Friction? Let's watch it together, bro. Let's watch it. No, that's not what happened. All right, thank you guys for checking us out. Make sure you check out the other podcast, Our Final Mountain, for those of you who got lost in the rambling there. Jack Harkness from Torchwood, Raymond Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly, and Captain Picard from Star Trek, The Next Generation. So make sure you guys check out the other podcasts on the Geek Bro Network, including but not limited to, Better Let Me Tell You, Kick Flicks with Jeff and I, the What's Up Bro podcast, aka Woo Bro, Shiver, the horror movie podcast, Dose of Ellie, Chow Like a Best with Mike Valdez, and Seasons, a TV podcast. So make sure you guys.
Did you say Cramacopia?
Oh, I'm sorry, Cramacopia. You know why? It's because I'm literally basing it based upon the right there, and I was like, and I couldn't see the tile. There you go. Cramacopia. So Cramacopia is just podcast with Q. It's a true crime podcast. Make sure you guys check that out. It's pretty interesting, pretty fantastic, pretty fucking scary. To know that there's people out there in the world that do that type of shit. So make sure you go check
the next episode. Wait till the next episode.
Yeah, go to geekbro.net. Check out geekbro.net. All the podcasts I just mentioned are there. Thank you very much for checking us out. Check me out at naryscience.com or whatwashisname.com and follow me on Instagram. I'm trying to grow my Instagram. You guys are great, man. Appreciate you guys. That's how lists are made.